School doesn't teach you how to pay your taxes, it doesn't teach you how to apply for a job, and it definitely doesn't teach you what to do when your world stops. I lost my mom a few years ago. Soon after, I lost my dad, and just a few years later, I lost my grandma. I've lost close friends due to suicide, and lots of other family members as well. Death is going to follow us. Whether it's someone close to us or someone we barely know, it is going to be all around us. And it's a very sensitive topic that nobody really wants to talk about because they don't want to make things worse. Unfortunately, not talking about it does make it worse because it denies that healing process necessary to overcome that loss. And this is why it's important to talk about the loss of a loved one and how you can overcome the darkest time in your life. And everyone grieves differently. Some people get into this depressed cycle for weeks at a time. Some people become angry with the person who passed, or they become angry with everybody around them. Others go on their day like nothing happened. Regardless of how you do grieve, it is important to do so. But let me step back for a second, because there are different scenarios that are a little easier to manage than others. Although all loss is difficult, something called process grief, or the passing of somebody who we were expecting to pass, hits a little softer when we're prepared for it. For example, grandma is 95 years old, she's ready to go. Or someone's been sick for really long time, we're expecting them to go. These are scenarios that you can prepare for, and it doesn't necessarily make the loss easier, but the grieving process is more manageable. Some scenarios are a little bit more complicated, like when somebody gets sick and passes fairly quickly or at a young age. You still expect it, but not so quickly. My mom, for example, was diagnosed with cancer at the age of 48. Over time, we knew that she was going to pass, and I was able to prepare for that. I was able to say my goodbyes, but it was still difficult because she passed at such a young age at 49 years old. Other scenarios are children who get sick as well, and there's not much we can do to help them, and all we can do is prepare for that time. Again, it doesn't make the loss any easier, but it's a little bit more manageable knowing that we can prepare for it. Now, what I believe to be the most difficult and complicated scenario is the traumatic grief, or the sudden loss of a loved one. I had a friend a few years ago who passed away because he was waiting at a stoplight and he got hit by a drunk driver. Now, he had a baby, he had just graduated from college, started his new job, and I can't imagine how difficult it was for his family and for his wife. And in my opinion, this is the most difficult because there is no goodbye. There is no closure for that family, and life is just ripped away from us. So this video is by no means a get over it kind of thing. It's more of a letting you know that it's okay to talk about, and some guidance of how to overcome these events. Now, if you've recently lost someone or are preparing for that, let me share 3 things that you might come across facing this difficult life change. Number 1, the grief brain. So grief isn't just emotional. It can cause brain fog, it can cause fatigue and forgetfulness. People often think that they're losing their minds and they don't know what's going on, but in reality, it is a physical reaction. You're going through physical pain as much as you are emotional pain. Number 2 is the 3-month mark. Very often, people are extremely supportive throughout the funeral and through the loss of this person, but this phase can be extremely lonely because the world moves on. At the 3-month mark, everyone goes on with their life, and the people who stay behind to grieve feel kind of stuck. So it can be very lonely even after months and months of this event happening. And number 3, the legacy. Now, this step isn't necessarily something that will happen to you. It's more of what you can do to continue your process of grief, which is an action to keep the memory alive. What did that person enjoy doing? Was it cooking a favorite meal, going to the park? Doing something that person enjoyed doing helps you to stay connected with that person, while at the same time getting you up to do something. Because as strong as you are, or as strong as you think you are, you'll need help. And take it from me, I'm fairly cold with my emotions. I don't share a lot of things, but when it came time for my mom to pass, I also needed help. I needed some kind of support to get me through that. First, you need to find somebody that you can confide in. A spouse, another parent, a sibling, a friend, a cousin, shoot, some random stranger. This person must be willing to listen to you And you need to feel comfortable sharing your feelings and emotions with that person. And it's okay to cry. It's okay to be upset and angry. It's okay to even laugh at times. All those emotions are completely valid. And now there's a difference between laughing and making fun of it, because I don't think making fun of someone's death is necessarily appropriate, but laughing about the good times or just about what that person did throughout their lives is good to remember, and it's okay to have those good memories. This is part of the grieving process. Some people might think that it's cruel to laugh, that death is never funny. Although death itself might not be funny, it is a way to get past the pain sometimes. I crack jokes every once in a while, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm being disrespectful or that it's not painful, but it's just a good way of coping with the loss. But however you grieve, it's okay. It's completely okay. And if someone's disagreeing with you on how to grieve, that person doesn't necessarily need to be there with you. Let them grieve how they need to, and then they can let you grieve how you need to. And if you know someone who's going through this difficult time, you can be the person who comforts. You can be the person there willing to listen, and because we will all need that person at some point in our lives. But even after the grieving process, whether it takes a week, a month, a year, you will always miss that person. There are a lot of times that I'm just doing my own thing and I'm reminded of my mom, and all of a sudden it just hits me like a brick wall. There are times that I just kind of sit down and cry because I miss my mom. So the sadness doesn't necessarily go away. You just tend to kind of move on with life, and every once in a while it'll hit you again, and it'll remind you how much you actually miss that person. But those are just moments, and those sad moments do pass, and I promise that they do. I love a story I heard a few years ago about King Solomon. He asked one of his advisors to bring him something to remind him or to humble him during good times and to make him happy during sad times. So the advisor finds this ring and he brings it to King Solomon during a party, so they're all having a good time. And Solomon sees this ring and there's an inscription on it. And all that's written on the ring is, "This too shall pass." And at that moment where Solomon is at this party, it does humble him, knowing that the happy moment that he is having right there and then will pass. But so will the hardships in life. When we lose someone, that pain and that suffering that we feel, that sadness, that will also pass. And it's not forever. And this is the beautiful part about life and death, that without it, all the people that we love, all the people that we care about, we would take for granted. There would be no special moment. There would be no special bonds, because everything would just last forever. The end of life is what gives true meaning to our relationships. And to end, I want to share a quote by the famous comedian Jimmy Carr. And he was asked about how he handled the passing of his mother. And his answer is that grief is the price we pay for love, and that it would be sad if it wasn't sad. So if you truly love somebody, most likely you will have to pay the price by grieving them, or somebody will pay the price by grieving for you. But my hope for this video is that if you're watching this and if you're grieving or preparing to grieve, I hope that you can find someone that you can confide in. And I know it's difficult. Like I've been there. I am there. But just know, just like the ring that King Solomon had, this time will too pass. It will pass, and we will move on, and we will continue to live our lives like the loved ones that we had would want us to. But let me know if you guys have any questions, or if you guys want me to cover any other topics. I know this one's a little bit tough and close to the heart, but I want to thank you for watching. And yeah, let me know if there's anything that you want me to talk about. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.